Multiple Democrat NGOs have coordinated attacks on Tesla dealership staff and vehicles. Last night, a number of Cybertrucks were torched in Seattle. Democrats are becoming increasingly more desperate and violent. It's hard to say whether this is because of an NGO, right? I mean, like, I have no idea. But we'll look at this and see what it says. Okay, here we go.
Tesla Cybertruck is on fire. All right. There's a fleet of Cybertrucks right now.
There's only one that's on fire? Were they?
Unbelievable. Seattle fire on the scene.
Yeah.
So you gotta get off the property.
Breaking news. I'm sorry?
Get off the property.
All right, you've got dozens of firefighters now putting out flames on the Cybertruck. Absolutely insane. Look, you still see flames right underneath the Cybertruck.
Don't they have like cameras that can check to see who does it? Because I heard these cars have cameras and shit.
Parked here.
They do? Yeah.
The Soto neighborhood here in Seattle Sunday evening.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see these the people that are doing it.
Put out the flames on a Cybertruck. It's unclear how this all started, but again, with everything that's happening in America right now, with anti-Elon Musk hate, all the protests and incidents of vandalism.
I mean, it's not even Elon Musk, right, at this point. I mean, somebody buys a Cybertruck. I mean, Elon's already got the money, right? I mean, you're not protesting Elon by burning a Cybertruck. You're just ruining a person's life. I mean, the fact is that if you buy one of these, I'm pretty sure this is like a six-figure car, right? It's an expensive car. And so, like, if you buy one of these and, you know, you put that much money into it, like, that's a lot of money that somebody invests. And so, like, if you're burning down somebody's car, like, think about, it's pretty simple, right, guys? Think about what it would be like for you if somebody destroyed your car. Like, how many of you guys would that totally ruin your life? Because I think for a lot of people it would. Yeah, life over, right? I mean, this is a horrible thing, right? It's a life-ruining thing. And so, like, then, because, like, you also have, like, yeah, you're right, the cascade effects. You have, now it's harder for you to do things socially with your friends. And that's the least of your concern. Now it's harder for you to go to your job. It could be hard for you to go to school if you're younger. It could be hard for you to take your kids to school, right? And so you have all these other secondary problems, right, that happen as a result of you not having the car, right? It's not like, oh, I can't have a car, so now I have to order DoorDash. No, that's not really the issue. The issue is that this causes like a domino effect in a person's life, and it can effectively ruin a person's life by burning down their car. And I think that this is one of the big issues that a lot of these people have, is that they view these things as just objects, right? But these objects have functions, and the functions that these objects have, things like, for example, like getting somebody to and from work, these are functions that are paramount and necessary to human life, right? To being able to exist in a society, right? And so you have people burning down these cars. This is ruining somebody's life. So it's not like, oh, well, it's just a car, who cares? Well, the car is a representation of a person's work, and so is any property, right? So, like, for example, if like you work for 3 months, and, like, you know, that's the equivalent of the amount of money that you would spend on a car, somebody burns down your car, destroys your car, they effectively took 3 months of your life and deleted it. And so I really think that this line of thinking and this violence, it's I mean, effectively, I mean, I don't know if every single one of these is because of Elon Musk, right? I mean, there are people that just burn down cars. But at the same time, you look at a lot of these people, it's only okay if you let it. Yeah. And so anyway, they excuse themselves thinking that they're eating the rich. Yeah, well, these people aren't rich. Like, that's really the way I see it. And that's what I think happens a lot. Yeah, people think they're doing a revolution or something like that. It's very, very common. And one 6-figure car or 10-beater cars are the same price. They'll survive if they can afford it. Yes, it's shitty, but they're more insecure and they should have had insurance. Well, insurance doesn't pay for all of that. And then also, so like you don't even really like that. I think that's like an unemployed take, right? That's an unemployed take, because whenever you really look at the damage that something like this can do, is that, like, now you have to file an insurance claim. Now you have to file maybe a police report. Now you have to deal with the police. Now you have to deal with the things in your car that were destroyed. Now you have to figure out getting a new car, right? And so you have all of these compounding issues and all of these problems that build up just as a result of one action. So it's kind of like, you know, whenever you have like a train crash, the first, it's not like one car goes off the train track. They all do because the first one does. And so it creates, again, like a domino effect that's really damaging for a person's life. And I think that's what's happening here, right? And so, yeah, that's really it. Some people could be easily radicalized by this happening to them. I think they will be, and I think that they should be. I think anybody who's even moderately okay with this is already radicalized, and I think that people should be radicalized against this. I think that there's only one, in my opinion, there's only one way to deal with this, and that is for police to pursue the highest form of punishment for people like this as possible. Because I think that if you really take a step back and you think about the primary impulse that this has, the primary impulse of this is to effectively intimidate, censor, scare, and hurt people because of a different political affiliation. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think that's basically terrorism. I do. I think that's pretty much terrorism. And so when I see a person doing this, I think of, wow, this is a terrorist, right? This person is a terrorist. And how can you possibly accept that, right? That's the definition, more or less. Well, yeah, it is. It literally is. And so, like, if I see somebody doing this and I'm like, there should be like, because like it's one thing for you to commit violence, right? And like, oh, you're burning down cars because you're a piece of shit. Okay, sure, you go to jail. But it becomes an entirely different thing when you're doing it for a political means as well, because that makes it all the more dangerous. They're burning Teslas? Yeah, exactly, right? The insurance rate is the rate, the real story here. Yeah, buddy's going to get fucked because his insurance provider is about to grape him and laugh about it. Well, I don't know about that, right? They probably won't pay for the entirety of the car. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know.
It appears to be arson.
Yeah, it probably is.
What you want us to wait and multiple times to investigate something start our
Does this look like arson, sir?
Yeah.
we got our investigator on the way. Too early to know.
Is this the only vehicle that caught fire this evening?
Still trying to get to the bottom of it.
Probably not.
We've got about four vehicles involved in this fight.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much. All right. There you have it. Seattle Fire saying there are actually several vehicles involved in this. Right now, I just arrived at the scene. It is a Cybertruck that is totally torched.
Jesus.
SFD putting out some of the hot spots right now, but apparently there's some other
it's disturbing.
vehicles
Yeah, it's
that
a
have
lot,
been,
right?
Torched as well in this Tesla parking lot. I'm going to try to get closer right now, but I'm being advised to kind of stay back. This is private property. It looks like this fence, again, says new inventory only.
So this is at a Tesla dealership?
So these appear to be brand new Tesla vehicles. I see a Model X. I see a Model 3.
Yeah.
I also see the Cybertrucks here. Okay, now that the smoke is starting to settle.
Do you think politicians and media persons who incite things like this should be charged? I don't think that I think there are no politicians or media people that are inciting anybody. I mean, maybe there's some people in media on the internet that are inciting people to do this, but like in a theoretical, right? If like somebody was advocating for like burning down or like destroying Teslas, then yeah, I think that they should get in trouble for that for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
The back of this Cybertruck's totally charred. The wheels have started to melt. All right, looks like they're taking out a panel here.
Are you okay if people protest and do so in peaceful ways, like standing outside of Tesla dealerships? Well, it depends on what you mean by standing outside of Tesla dealerships. Like, if you're standing outside of a Tesla dealership and then preventing people from going inside of the dealership, and then people that are inside of that protest are breaking the windows, like what we've seen in the past, and I think this is what happened with BLM too, is that is bad. But if you're just like the fundamental, like, I mean, obviously a group is not collectively responsible for like one person doing something bad, but like ideologically, I don't think there's a problem protesting outside of a Tesla dealership or anything like that. But if you're obstructing people's movement, like you're not letting people go inside the building or you're being violent at all, then it's bad. So, but like just at a base value, a peaceful protest, yeah, of course that's fine.
Just too
Yeah,
early
and
to tell
obviously,
what
like,
happened here.
I mean,
Again, with all of
if the dealership doesn't want them on their property, then the dealership has every right to say, get off our property, right? That's their property. But other than that, yeah, no, I think it's fine.
the anti-Elon Musk hate right now, other incidents of vandalism and arson at Tesla dealerships, at Tesla charging stations, one can only suspect that this is arson. Some hot spots. Flames underneath the passenger side wheel right now that firefighters are about to put out here.
Yeah, I mean, this is really bad. I'll respond to a comment here because this is something that a lot of people think. Elon wants to hatchet and get to prance around stage with a chainsaw, taking over the livelihoods of workers, let go, due process without following the laws. Then he has to expect to see more events like this. Revolutions don't come out of nowhere. This isn't a revolution. You're just burning down people's cars. Like, there's no revolution that's happening here. And this is the issue, is that, like, a lot of these people have, like, this massive, like, revolution spiritual energy, and it doesn't exist. Like, you're not doing a revolution. You're burning down a person's car. You're damaging a person's life. You're destroying a building. This isn't a revolution. If you wanted a revolution, maybe you should have tried to win the election. That would have been a revolution. Like, why is it that when we have a democratic process, that you get to ignore that process and you get to destroy things when you lose? That's not how it works. I think revolutions make a lot of sense in cases like France and in cases like the American Revolution, in cases where you don't have a democratic alternative. But if you have a democratic alternative, you need to use that. You don't just get to, basically, it's like you're playing a board game with somebody and you're losing the board game and you just flip the board over. You can't do that. That's not it. And also, I think the fact is that the fact that you're losing the election shows that this mindset is not that popular. I understand you might have this mindset, but this isn't a revolution. You're not doing anything, helping anybody. You're not benefiting anybody. You're not making anything better. You're not improving anything. You're not putting out a message. All you're doing is destroying cars. And also, like, you have to keep in mind that revolutions revolt against the government and not people's private property. It's about standing up for people, not silencing and telling people what to do. Well, you're right about that, too. Yeah. If you want a real revolution, then go protest outside a government building. Go take political action and get somebody elected in local politics who you think will represent you. That's what you have to do, but you don't want to do that because that's hard. That's hard, and it's much easier to just burn down a Tesla and think that you're the same thing as the French Revolution, right? Or you're some kind of revolutionary. You're not a revolutionary. This isn't a revolution. These are people that are destroying private property. There's no risk in this at all, really, other than getting arrested. It's a very weird. And I think that this is the problem that a lot of people like that have, is that they've basically, it's like, it's kind of like that meme where it's like, if you refer to this meme that I've created, I've depicted you as the soy jack and myself as the Giga Chad, therefore you lose. What these people have done is they've created a worldview where this behavior is acceptable. Right? That's basically what they've done. It's summer of 2020 mindset. Yeah, exactly. And so they've created a worldview where this is acceptable behavior to burn down Teslas. Like, there is no justifiable reason in a civil society that you should be able to burn down another person's private property. Full stop. That's it. There's no civilized society in the world where this is acceptable. People go to jail for that? They do, and they should.
Man, look at this wreckage. Twisted metal, charred remains. Look at the back of that Cybertruck. All melted.
And also, this is another thing, is that if you, it does look like this car was damaged too. And if you if you build, and like, I think that there's a lot of like left-wing people, and this is especially true with like content creators that kind of like hand wave this and think it's not a big deal. It'll happen to them. If you think that there aren't people that are right-wing that would be willing to burn down a left-wing person's house or to attack them in public or something like that, you're crazy. And so, like, if you create a culture and a apparatus that accepts behavior like this, it will be used against you. It absolutely will. Well, what? Yeah, of course. Like, well, what I'm saying is that if you normalize political violence, that will happen to you. All you have to do is wait. Like, that's it. And it's the same thing as internet censorship. It's the same thing as everything else, right? It's like if you create a weapon to use against people, the only thing you have to do for that weapon to be used against you is to wait. And I think that this is true. We've seen this happen on the internet how many times, right? Violence begets violence. Yeah, exactly. Trump's alive? I don't know if he's alive or not. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he's not. You have to ban somebody. You're going to have to ban another person. Yeah, he's not alive. What are you talking about? What are you talking about that shit for, bitch? Making up a bunch of bullshit. It's in 15 minutes. So, yeah, I'll watch it when it happens. But anyway, let's get back to this. Sorry. Got a little distracted there. Apologize. Was it already normalized? The same shit happened after Floyd death? Yeah.
It appears the firefighters are now looking around that third Cybertruck.
Yeah.
That has sustained heavy fire damage as well. That's the second one, and here's the first one that we saw that just totally.
Oh my god, I didn't even see it. There was more than one.
Fireball. Right now, I'm counting 1, 2, 3 with damage that I can see right now. But apparently, there's also a fourth one back there, but we can't get back there right now because being told by authorities to stay back just for our own safety.
Set up to 4?
So I'm going to try to get an angle there.
I see. I thought he was talking about other cars in the area, not in this specific area.
Those sustained some damage as well.
Yeah, sure. There's probably going to be AoE damage. It's crazy how brave firefighters are to have to deal with a burning car that could explode at any time. It really is. It's really crazy to see that. Well, there it is. Let's see if there's any more about this. Terror, what's this here? Openly admits to stalking. Wait, what the fuck? What's this?
Val, maybe we could start off with a little bit of, can you just actually tell us what Tesla Takedown is?
Yeah.
It's not Takedown Tesla, it's Tesla Takedown.
Tesla Takedown. Yeah, there's a website called TeslaTakedown.com, which is a website you can go to, get some background on the campaign. And it essentially is a map where anybody in the world can put an action up for targeting Tesla. And so I've been involved in that campaign, and in particular, planning actions in the Seattle area targeting Tesla.
In Tesla Takedown, there's a
what does that mean,
spirit
though?
out there, which had already, as we saw with Luigi Mangione, there's a spirit which is very anti-corporate, very anti-billionaire, very anti-sort of elite. And Tesla Takedown is also tapping into some of that spirit as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would say it's just what I've noticed being involved in organizing.
I feel like if you're running a website, I mean, isn't this like a self-report? I mean, it's a self-snitching situation. I mean, if you're running a website and the goal of the website is to organize people to commit political violence, because I don't know what's happening, like, I don't know what's happening on the website, right? I mean, are people committing political violence because of this or not? You'd have to see. I feel like that's illegal. It's obviously illegal. And I think that what's really crazy about this is that the people that are doing this have psyoped themselves so hard into believing that all of this is normal. And I think that really goes to show like how radicalized people are, is that these people are just openly discussing being literal terrorists. Yeah, they actually, like, I mean, that's pretty extreme. I think that's kind of crazy, isn't it? Wow. They think they're right? Yeah, they do. Then take the website down? Well, I'm sure that they will eventually, right? I mean, if it's been found that this is a link to, like, actual violent activity.
In the Seattle area for some time, especially after the election and the inauguration, people were like, what do? We don't want to just waste our energy protesting for the sake of protesting.
Well, what are you doing?
And especially in Seattle, and I would say on the West Coast, I'm sure it's true of many places, we're really far from the center of power in government. And I think as it became clear that Elon Musk was taking on this outsized role at the federal level, totally, I would say, criminal role nationally, we're like, oh, wait, like, we can target Elon here because his company, the source of the majority of his wealth, has numerous locations in the Seattle area, and ultimately money talks. And we've planned, whether it was troublemakers or partners that we've been working with over the last few weeks, have planned multiple actions at Tesla.
Yeah, it depends on what the actions are. I mean, if the actions are, resulting in violence like this, then that's an issue. Like, there's somebody...
Yeah, I get paid to be out here.
You get paid to be out here?
Yeah.
He could probably just be saying that.
You really are getting paid for this?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, definitely. 100% I'm getting paid for this.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares about this guy. Yeah, that's not really a big deal. Let's see here. Is there any more of this? No, there's really not. That's about it. Yeah, these are the people getting arrested. What a surprise. And yeah, he's getting paid $5. It could be fake. Yeah, I don't know. It's like one guy standing there. And anyway, so yeah, if this keeps happening, you're going to see a lot more censorship. You're going to see like retraction of like people's personal rights, etc. It's going to be really bad. And from the site, so nothing illegal in print anyway. Sell your Teslas, dump your stock, join the picket lines from the site, so nothing illegal in print anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think that if you want to organize a boycott against a company for any reason, then I think that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if these boycotts are turning into being violent at a regular basis, and if that violence is being discussed and organized on the website, then it's an issue. And I think that's kind of what's happening. But yeah, I think that what's happened is that a lot of these people have, again, they've like psyoped themselves into thinking that they're fighting against the next Third Reich, you know? And so because of that, they've justified in their minds any bad behavior that they do because it's in service of fighting some sort of unique existential evil. And so that's kind of what happens is that, and this is the same thing that happens with religion in a lot of ways, right? I mean, most people, like, if you look at any of their, like, look at ISIS, you look at the Crusades, you look at any religious extremist group, they think that they're Joseph Kony. Do you know who Joseph Kony's army name was? The Army of God. Like, that's it. And so, like, doing bad things in the name of, like, some weird ideology, this is something that, I mean, like, we've always done this, right? I mean, we're right back to basics. So, yeah. God wills it. Yeah, exactly. And some are worse than others. Yeah. And I think that that's really what it is. And this is basically this type of thinking and this like ideology. It's effectively a religion for these people. And I think that they believe in it and they support it at the level that people who are religious believe and support these things. The Crusades were a response to Islamic raids. Sure, and I'm sure that there were some things in the Crusades that were justified, but I'm sure also there were other things that were not. I mean, it's very simple, right? I mean, you can say that, like, for example, like, I'm sure that there were bad things that happened then, and are you really going to tell me that, like, I understand, like, this is... people don't like... I think there's, like, a lot of Christians that get super defensive about this. Christianity has been the result, like, a lot of things bad that have happened have been a result of Christianity. Like, they've done oppressive bad things. We had, like, literally the Dark Ages. Why is it called the Dark Ages? Because of fucking religion. And so, no, Salem witch trials. Look at that. This has been happening. So there's no religion, like, Islam isn't any better or anything like that either. I'm not saying that Islam is good and Christianity is bad. I'm saying that both of these religions have created historically a lot of radical behavior, and they've promoted violence, and they justify religion, or sorry, they use religion to justify this all the time. Well, Asmongold history, CatDany has no idea. Of course I do. Anybody knows that religious extremism is bad. It doesn't matter what brand of it is. Guys, I know that there's like this new cultural thing that people do on the internet where they try to act like every bad thing that happened that was done by Christianity was actually good. That's not true. And I think that you do yourself a disservice by being so dishonest about it. You're not helping anything. You're not doing anything better. You're just being dishonest. Well, who's doing that? People that were justifying things like the Crusades. While the Crusades in some cases were a response, they were also massively oppressive, and they killed a bunch of innocent people too. So, like, what I'm saying is that religion being used as a justification to be violent is something that's not new. That's my point. Like, we can get into, like, the history of, like, one specific event, but, like, I mean, look at Joan of Arc. They burned Joan of Arc because of religion. Like, what are we talking about here? Dark Ages or fabrication. Renaissance thinkers wanted to feel better about themselves. Learn about the Dark Ages before you spread misinfo. I'm just going to permaban. I don't want to listen to an arguer. If you think that the Catholic Church and, you know, the Christianity was not oppressive in those days, you're just a retard. I mean, it's not even worth having a conversation with somebody like that. It's just a waste of everybody's time. Yeah, that's it. He's right, though. No, he's not. I mean, this is a dumbass. And so, anyway, yeah, they still are today. Exactly. Your primary point is these people have replaced religion with whichever anti-wealth movement there is. Yeah, exactly. And so people like this, yeah, amount of retardation is crazy. Yeah, I know. That's not what he's saying. Yeah, the thing is, people like to argue and get mad about that, but, yeah, that's it. Christianity was oppressive, but the Dark Ages were called that because the Roman Empire fell. Sure, I mean, but also Christianity was oppressive, so that's really the point, right? I mean, both things can be true. So here's the point that I'm making, right, is that these people have replaced religion with this social and political dogma. I think that's effectively what's happened. And that's what I think is happening a lot, is that people have replaced religion with this political dogma, and they use it in order to justify bad behavior. And I think that's it. You're wrong, they're getting paid. I think that's not true. I think that some of them are getting paid and the organizers are getting paid, but I think that if you actually go to the picket lines and you see the people that are actually being violent, many of them are actually not getting paid, and they're just doing it on their own. So well, I'm sure some of them are. Some of them are getting paid, not all of them. Everyone has a religion, including atheists. Well, that's stupid. That's just such a stupid thing to say. Anyway, so I think if this keeps going on, you're probably going to see way more of a like a government response to this. But you're describing how human works? Yeah. Currently, though, all that matters is what's happening now. Like the one currently being bad. And those are relevant. No problem is the far radical far leftists. Well, my point is that this has been going on for all of history. Is that people have been finding causes and being violent about them. And I think that if we go back and we look historically, are any of these like the good guys? Generally, they're not. And so, yeah, I think this is really, really bad. And I think that also, like, again, like, you know, taking a step way back from this and just like explaining it, is that if they piss off the wrong groups and the militias will cause a lot of damage in the 90s, it'd be bad. Yeah, and so radicalized extremism has been bad over and over. It is. It always is. So at the time, it can be seen as good, but not over time. Yeah, maybe. Doesn't seem wrong, to be honest. Even atheists simply replace gods with other things like politics and the gospel of billionaires. Well, that's not the way that all of people do this. I'm genuinely concerned about far-left leadership. They are unironic Nazis. I think that people that are doing this are not really Nazis. I think that they have convinced themselves that they're fighting against Nazis. And so they've radicalized themselves on the internet. And in the process of radicalizing themselves on the internet, they have justified all of this behavior. And I think that's what's really happened here.